Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Soulful Conversations, the space where we dive deep into mental wellness, mindset, and healing. We're so glad you're here with us. Today's episode is tender. It's one that lives in the hearts of so many grief and loss. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, a parent, a friend, or the invisible pain of a miscarriage or pregnancy loss, grief meets us all at some point in some form. Now, what is grief? Grief is not just sadness, it's everything. It's the shock, the numbness, the anger, the ache of, this isn't how it was supposed to go. It's the moments when your world feels like it's gone for a pause, while everyone else keeps moving.
Absolutely. And grief can actually come in many forms. It's not just about death. Um, it could be the loss of a relationship, a friendship. It could be a loss of you, a dream, a loss of a dream, a future, a probable future that you really look forward to. So while it has many forms, it's hard to say, I mean, it's like an umbrella, honestly, here. Grief is an umbrella. For some, it's losing a parent, a loved one. It's the heartbreak of pregnancy, maybe miscarriage, stillbirth. And sometimes it's just all these little moments that follow.
Yeah. I'd like to share something deeply personal. Um, So, my journey with loss began in 2020 during the pandemic when I had my first miscarriage. It was unexpected. I had conceived naturally, and in a time of such global uncertainty, this little life felt like light, but it didn't last. And neither did the silence that followed. My husband and I grieved alone. No support groups, just this void and so many unspoken feelings. I thought maybe it was just a one time thing, but it wasn't. I experienced more miscarriages, more fertility treatments, more hope, more loss. And each time it shattered something inside me. And each time I had to pick up the pieces quietly, painfully, and slowly.
Thank you for sharing, Pri. It takes a lot of courage to come out and talk about this. So many women just carry the pain and the loss silently.
Yeah, thank you. Um, what made it harder was that miscarriage is still a kind of is still kind of an invisible grief. People don't always know what to say, or they minimize it. But for me, each loss was the loss of a future, a child I had already loved. And with every loss, I was also grieving parts of myself, my hope, my body, my sense of control. With all this happening, I started thinking deeply about how grief affects mental health. Renu, would you like to take a take on that?
Sure, I would. Grief and mental health are deeply connected. It is more than just feeling sad. It's it also comes with fatigue, anxiety, and sometimes depression. Although it could or could not be clinical depression. If it is clinical depression, then please seek medical help. But for most of us, that's another topic for another time. But today, when we talk about grief and mental health, we're talking about how we feel really as people. What are the feelings, the thoughts, the difficult thoughts that you deal with on a day to day? And do we really deal with them or do you push them down? For most people, you're masking them, you find other ways to cope, and you move on. And why? Because you often don't have the courage to face it. So I feel like grief, how does it affect us mentally? You start questioning yourself, you start questioning everything around you. You feel a sense of disconnect from your body, your routines, your relationships, and sometimes seek isolation. If I were to connect it with pregnancy loss, I'd say it also affects your body because you're losing a part of you, and that ruptures something inside you, a sense of self-trust.
Absolutely. And I totally agree about the isolation part more so because I know I went into a phase where I just wanted to be alone. You know, I felt like when someone didn't go through what I went through, what's the point of talking about it with someone? A lot of times people would just not say the right thing, and that would be hurtful. Grief, I think, can show up as brain fog that makes it so hard to focus as well. As anxiety that flares up in your chest, not just about the loss, but about the unpredictability of life now. And sometimes grief doesn't even look like sadness. It comes out as irritability, restlessness, silence, isolation, overworking. It masks itself in survival. There were days when I didn't recognize myself. My body felt like it had failed me. My mind was exhausted, and emotionally, I was unraveling. But that unraveling, it also showed me the parts of me that needed to be held with more compassion eventually. And that's where my healing began. Not with moving on, but with returning to myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Returning to yourself. That's such a great insight you have there. Not many people recognize that they can do it, return to themselves, and it's not easy. Yeah, grief, I also think puts a lot of stress on our nervous system, really. If you think about grief, it can do two things to you. You can be either hyper aroused, like constantly vigilant, like as though you're in danger, wanting to run, or you could freeze or collapse, like feel hopeless and just like the whole world kind of falling apart kind of thing, not being able to think your way out. Your body can sometimes feel unsafe, even though you're physically safe. Mentally, you start to question everything about yourself, your faith, your sense of purpose also. Sometimes the inner voice gets louder. You question. You question yourself. You question the circumstances. The questions could come across as, why did this have to happen to me? Why me? Like, is it my fault? You start to analyze things. Could I have done something different? If I did this, maybe this would have happened. Will I ever be okay again? And, as I think about this, I also feel, in many cultures, including ours, we're expected to be strong.
Yeah.
And w- when I think about being strong, strong isn't about suppressing the grief, really. Strong is about honoring it and actually facing it.
Yeah. And when you mentioned the questions, could I have done something differently? I did have that question a lot of times throughout, you know, the journey where I was, I guess, healing. And I realized it was definitely very strong in the beginning, but as I was healing, the voice got slower, lower in volume, not that strong, weaker, I guess. And I realized healing definitely isn't a straight line. I am still healing. I am still on the journey. I still have days where I'm struggling, where I would watch something on television or, listen to something, still get some good news from others, and I'd have tears in my eyes because not because I'm sad for them. I am definitely happy for them, but I am sad for something that I will not have. And I've found grounding in small ways, breath work, journaling, being with nature, talking to someone really helps. And most importantly, I stopped trying to get over it. I started to live with it, because that is my reality. I began listening to my body instead of fighting it. I let myself cry, the rage, I rest. Whatever was needed, whatever is needed, I try to listen to my body, my mind, and I do that. I created a space to be with my grief rather than trying to fix it.
That's so powerful. Accepting the grief and creating a space to be with it. And that's what we want to share with all of you today. That healing doesn't mean forgetting, it means integrating the loss. It means finding new rhythms, whatever those new rhythms mean to you. It means knowing that you are allowed to smile again, even if you have a tender heart. It's okay. It's okay.
Beautiful. My experience is what led me deeper into wellness and mental health coaching, because I know how lonely grief can be, how confusing it is to be okay one day and in pieces the next. And as a coach, I now work with others through that pain, not with quick fixes or toxic positivity, but with presence, compassion, and tools that honor the grief while supporting the healing. But more than anything, I only want to offer presence, because sometimes presence is the healing. Because coaching through grief is not about forcing people to be okay. That's probably never going to work. It's about saying I see your pain and I'm here with you in it. You don't have to carry this alone. You get to be both heartbroken and whole.
And what's more beautiful than to be guided by someone who's lived the pain, who understands not just what it takes to coach professionally, but also personally. That makes the support deeper, compassionate, and more real. You find that connection when you've had lived experiences. So, whether it's setting emotional boundaries, finding safe spaces to talk to, or reconnecting with your body again, the healing journey can be deeply supported through coaching and holistic wellness. Coaching is about creating that safe space where you can feel seen, heard, and you can be gently guided back to yourself. It's a space where we honor the pain and also rediscover the joy piece by piece in your own time at your own pace. Grief changes us, but it also reveals things to us.
Yeah. And the most important thing, you don't have to do it alone. Even if you feel very strongly about it, trust me, the support system is out there. You will find your people, whether you're grieving a person, a child, a version of yourself. You are worthy of support. You deserve the softness. You deserve healing in your own time, in your own way. And mental wellness isn't only about becoming a new version of yourself. It's also about remembering who you are beneath the pain.
Yeah, 100%. Remembering who you are beneath the pain. So if you're grieving right now, we want you to know that your pain is real. You're not alone. There is no timeline to get over it. You will not get over it. And it's okay. There is no right or wrong way to mourn. But there is healing, there is light, even if it seems like a little flicker right now.
And there's love. Even when the people we love are gone, even when dreams fade, love remains in your heart, in your memories, and in how you choose to keep showing up for yourself. We see you, we honor your journey. Take your time, breathe, let yourself feel. You are healing even when it doesn't look like that.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here with us in this space, in this tender space. If this episode resonates with you, please share it with others who may need to hear it and watch it, who may need to feel that sense of reassurance. And until next time, be gentle with yourself.
Bye.
Bye.